Hello, everyone. Welcome to Novel Hour Live. This is our weekly live show every Thursday, 12 noon Eastern Time. We gather here, we have theme, we share book recommendations, new releases, what we're watching, gossip, news, and more. We're a little bit tardy today, okay? Technical difficulties on the back end, but we're super excited to be here with you because today's theme is all about with aliens. Now, mark your calendars for next week. We're going to be sharing some books to celebrate Disability Pride Month, and we're closing out July with books with weddings. So again, lots to look forward to. So mark your calendar again, Thursday, 12 noon Eastern Time. And we're looking forward to seeing you then. But now we're going to get into some books with aliens. I'm going to go first. I'm going to kick Francesca off and then she'll come back and share her recommendation. Okay. So I'm not really an alien girly. I know aliens is a really big thing, but I will be sharing a mix of genres today because I read across genres and these are some of my favorite books that feature interstellar things and it too. So the first thing I want to share with you is actually a series that just concluded. So it's the perfect time to binge. And this is the Mid-Solar Murders series by Mer Lafferty. So the first one in the series, Station Eternity. And in this one, we meet our main character, Mallory. Mallory is a college dropout turned P. She has a knack for stumbling into murders. And while she's trying to protect her friends and maybe her sanity too, she goes to Station Eternity. Now, Station Eternity is a living space outpost that is buzzing with lots of alien tourists, okay? But of course, even out there, a corpse will turn up anyway. So we kind of see Mallory get together with this team. One person in particular is an ex-soldier to kind of chase down the killer. So this one is quirky. I actually love learning about the different kinds of aliens, okay? We have some symbiotic aliens in the mix as well, and just a great setting. It's fun, again, murder mystery, so it will keep you engaged. The second book in the series is Chaos Terminal, and just to kind of give you a light overview, this one shows us with Mallory, again, back at Station Eternity. You know, she's dodging a whole bunch of things at this point, you know, including death and an old flame, of course. Now, there is this kind of curse that is still trailing her, but of course, she has her childhood best friends back, who comes along to Station 11 too. And there's just lots of things happening. Again, someone ends up dead and now she has to untangle the mystery. So again, same thing, lots of aliens and good fun murder mystery vibes. The last book in the series is the most recent release. Like this came out within a few weeks. It's called Infinite Archive. So again, Mallory again, she wants to take a break. You know, she's been busy in books 1 and 2. There is no rest for the wicked because of course now there is a convention of murder mystery fans at Station. So all of them come to Station 11. They're all there. Of course, lots of new alien attendees. Their motives are a tad bit murky, but one of the keynote speakers, this convention drops dead. And of course, now she has to solve it. So in addition to solving the mystery, there is a whole intergalactic fallout with some other aliens. And I don't want to spoil it, but just know that was very intriguing and it kept me going. So this whole series is lots of fun. So I hope you'll give it a go. Again, all 3 books are available now for your binging pleasure. But it wouldn't be me if I didn't bring you a literary read. And this is one of my absolute favorite books from last year. It is a standout. It made I think I had a top 13 for last year. And it's called Beautyland by Marie Helene Bettino. Again, this is very literary, but we meet our main character, Adina, and she isn't your average teenager. She is living in Philadelphia, but the truth is she's actually an alien. So she's like human presenting, but again, she's an alien and she was sent to Earth on a very kind of classified mission. She's supposed to observe us here on Earth and kind of report it back to her superiors. Now, what I appreciated about this is also the setting, because this is set in the 70s. So it's around the time when America and the rest of the world, quite frankly, is very, you know, space feverish. You know, it's the moon landing. Who is the first person to get to space? It's that whole time. So you get lots of those references as well. But kind of seeing an alien live among us and kind of, you know, reporting back was very interesting. She doesn't know who sent her there. So there's that bit as well. But there's lots of human elements because she's living a teenager's life. So it is a coming of age story at its core with an extraterrestrial perspective, because again, seeing her comment on us is kind of hilarious. It's also heartbreaking as well, but I love the nostalgia because it's very 70s, 80s nostalgia and so on. So this is a fun interstellar read, so I highly recommend. And the last book I'm going to share with aliens with you today is again another top 13 favorite of mine from last year. It's The Stardust Grail by Yumi Kitasai. This one is absolutely brilliant. So we have a human in the mix who is an ex-art thief who is now a Princeton grad student. She's trying to kind of get her life together and pull herself together. However, she has an alien friend, Encore, and they team up to kind of come together to find the Stardust Grail. Now, the Stardust Grail has some complicated things about it because people on Earth want this for their own reasons. So, of course, Maya is kind of looking for it through that lens, but also her best friend, who is an alien, needs it to save their race because their species and their race of people are in danger. So, this one is spanning galaxies and just, adventure. They are also trying to outrun Earth's military as well because that military force is ruthless. Okay. So it's a thrilling heist, distant planets, cultural clashes with different folks in space, different aliens, but also their interaction with humans. And it's just a question about, humans and how we survive in a great universe where there is more than one group of people who kind of need the Stardust Grill. So again, treasure hunting, high stakes. I'm going to call it planet trotting, like how we have globe trotting, planet trot, stuff like that. But I really enjoyed it. It's a brilliant read. So yeah, those are my books and recommendations. Francesca, what did you think?
I definitely think that first series you mentioned would be perfect on screen. Like, it sounds like it would be such a fun either movie or TV show or whatever, like a good Netflix series.
It would be a good series. It really is a fun time. So if you're just joining us live, we're talking about the Mid-Solar Murders. First book is Station Eternity. Then we have the second book, Chaos Terminal, and the third book that just released. So again, complete series now out now, Infinite Archive. It really is just a fun time. It has a mix of everything because you get the mystery, you get the romance, you just, you get the setting of Station 11. It really is cool.
Yeah, definitely sounds like it.
Yay, awesome. So I'm really excited to hear about Francesca's books with aliens because I know she's more alien girly than I am.
So I am actually bringing you guys the weirder side of alien romance. I feel like whenever you get into alien romance, you can get into the more humanoid aliens, like the ones that actually they could pass for humans, but also there's the definitely more alien looking. So that's basically what I'm going to offer to you guys here today. It's a little bit more unhinged characters and settings and tropes. And it's basically the books that you're going to read just you're not going to take them too seriously. You're just going to have a good time. So the first one, I actually wanted to bring this one because it's called Strange Love by Anne Ray. And a few weeks ago, I had mentioned a new book by this author, which is I Think I'm in Love with an Alien. And that is her latest release. But this one, it's a little bit older, but I think it's basically a classic. It is a standalone. The other ones, I think all the other ones are series that I'm going to talk about. So this one is standalone. You can just read that. And so this is perfect for fans of awkward heroes, but also sweet and wholesome aliens. And I feel like that's a little bit weird looking at that cover, but it is very wholesome and sweet. So we have the alien hero. He is this adorable alien dude who's trying to find a life mate. And he goes to an interstellar dating agency, which basically sets the tone for this whole thing. There is a tech mix-up and he ends up with a human woman instead. Now, of course, she's like, what the hell is happening here? And at the end, she kind of rolls with it. And they have to team up for this alien choosing ceremony kind of thing where they basically, as they're going through that, they're like falling for each other as well. It's really tender. It's funny. It's a little bit bizarre. It's low. It's got alien bug vibes, as you can see from the cover, but it's really, really sweet. The second one, and now from here on, these are all series. So once you start with book one, you can dive into the whole series. So the next one is The Alien's Ransom by Ella Maiden. So this one is a little bit of chaos. So our heroine, Frankie, gets abducted and she wakes up in a planet with horned alien biker dudes. And it's basically like a biker gang. And she gets claimed by the alpha of, let's call it a pack. And there's hoverbikes here. There's secret weapons. There's alien mafia. There's also some surprising emotion here. So our alpha is trying to save his brother. And somewhere along the way, they kind of like start working together and she starts liking him and starts going along with it. So it's spicy. It's action packed. Definitely doesn't take itself too seriously, but a great series for that. Now, the next one is I Married a Lizard Man by Jean L. Now, this one is a grumpy sunshine and it's definitely adorable. This is about another kind of like dating agency. So it's the Prime Mating Agency series. So again, you can get into a whole series. There's all different kind of creatures. They're not all lizards. There's all kinds of stuff, snakes, all kinds of weird aliens. So in this one, our heroine, Susan, signs up for an arranged off-world marriage because her only other option on Earth is basically indentured servitude. So she decides, I'm getting out of this planet, and she is matched with Alex, who is this massive, obviously scaly-looking hunter. And their dynamic grows into something that's really sweet and soft. There's a farm. warm. There's lots of cuddling, and it's just a really tender and sweet story. So I definitely think you would really enjoy it. And again, it's a whole kind of like dating agency series. And now I'm going to give you a last bonus recommendation here. And this one is actually a recommendation from my husband because he's the one that read a few books in the series. And it's Caveman Aliens Ransom by Callista Sky. Now, as you can see, yes, it's caveman aliens. Now, in this one, a girl gets abducted and she is dropped on a Jurassic style planet. There's dinosaurs or, whatever. And her only shot at survival is basically this massive, silent, broody alien caveman who they're basically what they're trying to do is repopulate their planet. So it's very chaotic. It's a little bit primal, but you have the cavemen and the dinosaurs, but it's really fun in the best way. So definitely some different kind of unhinged stories, but definitely a lot of fun. Yeah, so that's the recommendations.
I don't know why, but I love a husband recommendation. Okay. I was just like, she's in behind her. I was like, okay, yes. It was just like, how exciting. And listen, I love a Jurassic World setting. So that for me is a winner. I'm like,
yeah, he was like, listen, there's the jungle, there's the dinosaurs, there's a lot happening.
Sounds like a lot happening.
Yeah.
Well, we'd love to hear from you all as well. Let us know your thoughts and comments if you have any alien book recommendations or if you're interested in reading any of the books we shared with you today. All right. So if you're just joining us, welcome to Novel Hour Live. This is our weekly live show we host here every Thursday at 12 noon Eastern time. We usually have a theme and we share some book recommendations. Today, it was all about aliens. But again, we do this every week. So check out our backlog. We have beach reads, summer reads, all the things. Lots of books that you can check out. We also have some exciting shows coming up. Actually, let me share that right now. Next week, we're going to be doing Disability Pride. And then we're going to end July with Books with Weddings because again, summer is all about the weddings. But we also share what we're watching as well. So let's jump into, first off, let me just say I had plans for things to watch. We were going to go to the cinema last week. I forgot what we were going to watch. I know everyone is watching the Superman movie, but there was another movie that was out and we ended up changing our mind. I just wanted food. So I just went out. But I will watch something this weekend. There's so many new things in cinema. There's a Megan movie. I know I want to watch Megan 2.0. That's a robotic movie. And I forgot the other one that is in cinema now. There's Superman. There's Megan. There's a whole bunch of new, I can't even remember. But anyways, in between work, I have on The Real Housewives of Miami. So I'm like there clicking and I'm like listening to Miami. I think Miami is a great housewives show. So if there are any housewives fans out there, I think this one is a winner. I don't think enough people are watching it, which is very confusing. Because if you love the chaos of Salt Lake City, which again, I love Salt Lake, it's top tier housewives, you'll need to watch Miami because I'm afraid Miami might go away because the ratings aren't rating. Miami was out for like 4 seasons and then it went on this long, I'm going to go on a limb and say 10-year hiatus. And then it came back 2-3 years back. Now, I will say I am missing Dr. Nicole. There's this lady on the show. She's a doctor for real. She's an anesthesiologist. She works a regular job for real. She took the season off because she just had a baby and she was kind of going through postpartum. So I miss her on the show. But yeah, I'm watching Miami. Miami has been Miamiing. And then I've also been watching Next Gen NY. I love watching young people moving to a city or the natives in the city, kind of, coming of age kind of vibes. I think next week is the season finale, I heard. So then it's going to be available on Peacock to binge. You know what? Peacock needs to write me a check because most of the shows I watch are on Peacock. Housewives, Bravo things. Yeah, they need to write me a check. Also, there's a movie I saw on Peacock. It was in cinemas the other day. I'm surprised it's on Peacock so quick. I think it's called The Woman in the Chair or something. I think it's horror. I think I might watch that. So I think that's the next thing on my watch. Yeah, I'm almost sure it's The Woman in the Chair. See, I have Peacock on my phone. People, I am not joking. I am working. Oh no, it's Woman in the Yard. It's because she's sitting in a chair. She's sitting in a chair. So in my mind, it's The Woman in a Chair. No, it's Woman in the Yard. It looks like a horror. So I think that's next up on my list. But I'm hoping to go to the cinema this weekend.
Nice.
Cinema review soon. Okay. You owe us an Animal Kingdom update.
I finished. I did finish. So the ending was, I was expecting it not to be like a sweet kind of like everything is great kind of ending, which that's what we got. I definitely like season 6 more than season 5. I will say. Was I fully satisfied with what we got and, who got away with stuff and who didn't get away with stuff and whatever? No. I feel like I don't think justice was truly served. And I feel a little angry about that. I would have liked to see who needed to get it, if that makes sense. And then there was also one particular thing, which obviously I'm not going to spoil it, but there was one particular thing that I was like, why was that even necessary? Because it was so dumb and something happens and you're not expecting that to happen. And the reason and the how it happened was so stupid that it's like you go through this whole show and they get away with all of this stuff. And then this like, for what? So there was a little bit of that. But but in way. So I have compared this show to Sons of Anarchy. And I feel like even in the ending, it has a very much a Sons of Anarchy vibe in the ending, because Sons of Anarchy also ended a little bit like that, where you're not really satisfied and, you know, there's no like nice little neat bow for this or that or whatever. And maybe you're disappointed that somebody died that you were expecting that will live. So yeah, I mean, I still enjoyed it. I still highly recommend it. I think it's a super entertaining show. I loved all the beach setting. There's always a little bit of surfing or some cliffside moments, so like the water's always there. So it does have a great summer vibe, but it definitely it was not like peak. I think like seasons 2 and 3 and 4 were probably like peak, like middle of the series, and then it kind of just season 5 was whoosh, and then season 6 was, I mean, it was coming back up, but yeah, I definitely was a little disappointed with the ending, but overall it made sense. Obviously they're not good people and they're not gonna ride off into the sunset.
You know what, sometimes I wonder if some of these series go on too long, like they stretch out a storyline more than it needs to be. So maybe
this one definitely was
Okay.
Especially because see, what happens is in season 5 and in season 6 they started doing flashbacks to the past and like the story of the mother and like kind of like them as little kids or teenagers. So there was a lot of that in seasons 5 and 6. And I think that probably took some, like, it was good to know some of those details, but you know what? They could have just been a few like small flashbacks and it didn't have to be like half of a season. And they probably dragged that out had they just combined seasons 5 and 6 into one with less of those flashbacks. It probably would have been tighter.
I get you.
This is probably true.
Yeah. But I also saw your reel on the Instagram, you know, the trend, everyone. I haven't even jumped on that trend. I need to be better with trends, but there's this trend about you look happier. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, you look happier because of this series, which
now I will do a whole show. So I have 2 friends. We're going to do a whole chat about this. So here's the thing. And I'm going to bring my husband up again because I was watching it with him and he did read the books. So he was watching and he was like, first he was very skeptical because he was like, they can't do because the effects, because this, because they're not going to be big enough. Then he saw the trailer and he's like, those are not the guys. Like that is not it. That's not the side. I will say, once we started watching it, everything grows on you kind of like a fungus. And I say that in the most loving way. Because I started off really thinking like, that's not how I see these characters. I don't think they're good. I feel like the acting is not as good. But like after the first, because the shows are pretty long, there's only 6 episodes, but they're like over an hour and something. Like they're pretty lengthy. And by the end of the first episode, I was like, okay, I can work with them. I think they're doing a good job. I think they're representing the personalities of the characters well. And then by the end, you're like, yeah, I think they're good. I think they're doing a good job. Yeah, I can see this. I co-sign.
We co-sign.
I co-sign. I think that if anyone is a little distraught by the characters, which by the way, I mean, the author was very involved and she did say that this is how she saw them in her head. So she did say that they were good representation. Now, of course, we all imagine different things.
We imagine.
That's on us. But I think that they really did capture the characters, the personalities, even when I wasn't like some of the things. So there's this one character, Vicious, and I really wanted, like, I didn't really think that the personality was right, but by the end I liked his personality, even though I feel like it's a little bit off from book Vicious, but it still worked. You know, like there were moments where he was a little too soft and he didn't have as much of the, I don't know, the little things that he used to say and stuff. But, you know, it's just season 1. This is just book 1. And then I had to like think back because I did reread the first book at the end of last year. And there also wasn't a lot of all of these other things that obviously as a fan of the series, you get used to hearing, you know, you get used to the characters, what they do, what they say. But a lot of that was not in the first book. So like I also had to tell myself this is actually good representation of the first book because that's what this first season is. So I think that they did do a good job with that. I was actually really impressed with how they portrayed the lessers, which are the bad guys, because I really disliked them in the books. And I was actually interested in some of those parts more in the show than what I'm usually interested in the books. So I think they did overall really well. I would give it a 7 out of 10.
Ooh.
It was good. It was good. And I am actually excited for the next season because they did announce it.
That's what I wanted to know. That was going to be my question. How many seasons are they projecting?
God only knows. I mean, I don't know because the way they're going right now, this season was only book 1.
How many books are there?
20 something.
Ooh.
So I don't know if they're going to continue one book per season. And if that's the case, that's going to take forever.
Right.
But also I feel like they probably only would need to do the core main guys at the beginning,
Okay.
really. Then maybe you're talking like 8 books, 8, 9 books.
Oh, that's not bad.
Maybe I can throw it for something like that, and that gets kind of like the main core Black Dagger Brotherhood without expanding once like more characters get added. But
I can see them spending a lot of time on the first, kind of building out the characters and the world and everything, but then they can merge stuff together.
Right.
And okay, cool.
Yeah. So I am excited because they did announce that season 2 is coming, and that is one of my favorites, second books. So I hope they do it justice. It's actually one of my favorite heroines, and also one of my favorite heroes is going to, because wasn't in this season. So hopefully they do a good job with the casting for that. Now I feel like also it's a little bit different because so there was one character that in this particular book, he is, even though he's still one of the big vampires, but in this book, he's been basically starving himself because he's going through stuff. And so he had to look very, very small, which for me was also like weird to see that, because you can see that this one guy is so much smaller than the other guys, even though I don't think necessarily any of them are as big as you're imagining these guys to be, but I get it. But so this one looks so small, and I was like, oh, but that is not how I see him, how I see Z in my head. However, I had to remember in this book, he was starving himself. And then the actor said that this is actually the smallest he's ever been, and he had to like downsize himself for the role. So I guess that gives me hope that when he's got to start now bulking up and looking more normal, he can do that.
Yeah.
So I think they'll do okay. I think I'm kind of satisfied. Yeah.
Awesome. Technology is technology on the back end. So it might take a time for this cover to disappear. Okay, I think it's doing it. Yeah, things are very slow. I don't know what is happening. Technology is doing its thing. But welcome to Novel Hour. This is our weekly live show. Each week we have a theme. This week it was all about aliens. Speaking of which, Tiff is saying, I'm so late. Did I miss it? Yes, you missed the aliens. This week we were talking all about aliens. And I'm just going to go on a limb and say Tiff might really like Francesca's alien book recommendations. I'm just saying. But this week we shared books with aliens. So if you're just joining us, rewind, catch up on that earlier bit. We just wrapped up what we're watching, and now we're going to get into new releases. So we have some new releases for you. Again, let's be patient while technology does its thing on the back end. But yes, we're really excited to share some new releases with you for the week of July 13th through to 19th. There are lots of books coming out. We just picked a handful to kind of spotlight. The first one I want to share with you all is A Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping by Sangu Mandaza, if I butchered the name, sorry. But I think this is a highly anticipated book because people really loved the previous book, The Society of Irregular Witches, right? That was the name. But in this one, we have a girl who was once Britain's top witch until she resurrected her aunt, and she lost her magic, and then she gets kicked out. And now she's kind of this grumpy innkeeper in Lancashire, which is a whole vibe. She's catering to all the different guests. There's also this talking fox, and she learns a spell that might restore her powers. So, she's really excited, but she's reluctant to team up with this magical historian who can maybe help her, but is insisting on keeping his distance away until, of course, he starts, thawing out. It's kind of like one of them icy people that kind of thaws out. So cozy in drama for sure. There's humor, the slow burn romance, and, just an enchanting setting. So I think it's cute and it's fun. Definitely one of those summer can roll over to fall reads. Next up is a mystery and a thriller. I actually recommended this one in the summer reading guide. Spoiler. Her Many Faces by Nisi Close. This is very interesting because we have our main character. She's a waitress at this very exclusive London club. Now, fast forward, we see her on trial. She is on trial for poisoning 4 wealthy patrons. One person is a big oil magnate. Another is a politician. I forgot who the other 2 are. Big deal people, because this is a high-end club. So we meet her and we get to know her, not through her voice, but through the story of the people who knew, right? So her father is one of the voices, the lawyer, there's an ex in the mix, there's a friend who's super loyal, and then there's a journalist who's digging around in the mix. So each perspective kind of reveals conflicting clues about who she is and just a whole bunch of conspiracy theories. If you love a conspiracy theory, okay, I do, then you'll really appreciate this one because you're hearing from everyone else than the person who really matters. So it's very twisty. I think this mystery and thriller is good for readers who love assembling pieces voices from multiple narrators because you don't know who is telling you the truth. Next up is Matchmaking for Psychopaths by Tasha Coriel. Some of you might recognize that name. Last year she had a book about something guide to serial killers. No, love letters to serial killers. That's the name. I actually interviewed her on the pod for that, and we really got into real life serial killers who write letters to women and the women that fall in love with them. I actually really appreciated that book. So, that's a callback. Check that one out. This one, however, we have our main character, and her fiance left her for her best friend on her birthday. Trash, okay? Absolute trash. So for her, it was like a complete plot twist. Never saw it coming. So to distract herself, she really starts pouring her energy into a kind of unusual career, which is kind of finding psychopaths, okay? Legit certified psychopaths, and pairing them with love matches. Because, maybe all a psychopath needs is love. Insane. But then cryptic things start showing up at her door because I'm like, yes, you're dealing with crazy. Right? She suspects that one of her clients might actually be a serial killer. So you're a psychopath. Yes, you are leaning on the edge of being serial killer. So she has two prospects of who this might be. They're also vying for her attention. And it's just crazy. So she's trying to untangle the romance and a homicide before it's too late, essentially. So another murder mystery. And then we have Until Allison by Kate Rousseau. In this one, we have our main character who has a childhood rival and the childhood rival is a golden girl. She is an heir to this big fortune. I think it's in construction, if my memory serves me right. However, she is found dead in a very spot. So this is going to be a flashback where they met in 8th grade. So this is really like, girlhood and childhood rivalries, but now fast forward to this situation. And, the place where this person turns up dead is too coincidental. And I don't believe in coincidences. So of course, she is kind of really haunted by the night when all of this happens. And now she gets together with a crew to kind of investigate all the things. So we see her revisiting her past, uncovering hidden things along the way. Of course, there's that class divide, because this is a really wealthy person, but also just stuff about girlhood. So that's what you can expect in that one. Then we have Everyone is Lying to You by Jo Piazza. Again, this is another girlhood one because we have college best friends. One of them vanishes, but then 15 years later, the other friend decides to kind of go down a rabbit hole to kind of find out what really happened. But here's the thing. She is not who she presents herself to be, because now she's like this trad wife influencer living this picture perfect life. And yeah, so she at this influencer conference, ends up disappearing herself. I think, how did it go? I think her husband dead. Yeah, there's a dead husband in the mix. And then of course, it's just a whole bunch of backstabbing, social media, and it's trying to figure out who is really who behind this juicy kind of filter. So yeah, it's very crazy how you can be one person in college and then completely transform into something else. The friend is like, who is this? Like, you're basically dead to me. And the last one is a double feature. Okay. So you know how in the cinemas you used to have double features back in the day? Okay. This book is a double feature. It is entitled The Babysitter Lives and Killer on the Road. This is by Stephen Graham Jones. It is a horror and it is a double feature because you get in two stories. One is The Babysitter Lives and one is Killer on the Road. In one of them, we have a main character planning a Halloween babysitting gig until the children she's watching summons something in the house. I can't say because that's part of, I read it and it's a spoiler. And then babysitter realizes, oh my gosh, I'm not just here watching these children. There's something else in here. She's not the only person who's alone there. So it's kind of old tropey babysitter, old horror. Yeah, that's the kind of vibe. Then The Killer on the Road, we have the 16-year-old girl who's trying to run away from home and she has some friends and family with her, but then she discovers that they've been marked by a serial killer who is kind of patrolling the road that they're traveling on. So it's like, it's not a US one, it's like a route 90 or something, and the serial killer is just patrolling this place. So yes, so there are two novellas in one. Like I said, it's a 2-for-1 feature. I do think Stephen Graham Jones is a very particular kind of horror reader, so if you've read any of his previous books and you loved it, then you'll appreciate this one as well. I know you have some new releases as well, Fran.
Yeah, so actually one of my most anticipated for this week was Atonement Sky by Nalini Singh, which is part of the Psy Changeling series. Is paranormal romance kind of mixed with sci-fi, and the heroine Alary is a J-Psy, which you do kind of need to read the series to understand what the Psy are, but they basically have psychic powers. So she is trying to have some issues with her. She is having issues with her psychic powers. They're basically like combusting, and she's trying to right also an old wrong. And that old wrong, something she did, involves the hero of the story, Adam, who is a falcon changeling, which are the shifters of this world. And now he does not forget that betrayal, and he's holding a grudge. And so this one is very messy with them, like fixing all of that. they have their painful past, but now they are thrown together while they're trying to catch a serial killer that is running around on Falcon territory. Now, the second one is a contemporary romance. It's The Reluctant Flirt by Jennifer Probst. So we have our heroine, Sierra, who finds out that her husband is cheating on her, and she just kind of spirals. She goes on a trip to New York City. She gets a little drunk one night, has a one-night stand with this charming stranger, no name ever. She leaves him, goes back home. Now, flash forward some time, she started over. She owns a little boutique on the Outer Banks, and somebody shows up into town, happens to be her one-night stand, and he is now this big-time developer who is wanting to tear down her shop to build a big project that he's got. And so, of course, they are on opposite sides of this business deal that is happening. They are also stuck together for a family wedding. Those old sparks from their one-night stand are still there. So they do have that enemies to lovers vibe. It's got that kind of a second chance and lots of small town drama. So great one for like right now. Now, the next one is a romantasy. It's the first in a new series. And I have been telling you guys, I always love right now water, mermaids, sirens, pirates. I'm all about that. So this is a first one in a new series. It's called In the Veins of the Drowning by Kaylee Cassidy. And it is basically a siren story. So we have Imogen, who is a siren hiding in plain sight, and she's trying to avoid her powers and the people that are hunting her kind, basically. So she ends up bonded to a broody king, of course. It's a little bit cliche, but they go on this deadly journey in lead-infested waters. There's lots of threads, so lots of things on the high seas. And there is a blood bond and lots of tension. I think it sounds really fun. It kind of gave me vibes of there used to be this show called Sirens, and they were a little bit like hiding in plain sight, and then they would convert and whatever. So it kind of gives me those vibes, which were a little bit creepy. So I am fully expecting a little bit of creepy in this one. It is blurred by Rachel Gillick. She really did enjoy that. So I am looking forward to reading this one. The next one is another contemporary, a little bit cuter. It's Pugs and Kisses by Farah Roshan. Now, this one is a second chance romance between two veterinarians who used to volunteer together at an animal shelter. Now, after a breakup for our heroine and her life is a little bit unraveling, she runs into her old college crush, who is now this big deal surgeon, and they have to team up to save the shelter. So there's a bit of pining, there's lots of cute puppies, and it's just a feel-good kind of like swoony romance. I think it's great also if you're a fan of like Abby Jimenez or like Jasmine Guillory. It's probably like it's got those vibes. It's not super steamy, but it's really, really cute and adorable. And I think veterinarian stories, it's also something that could work really cute for summer.
Yes.
We need those cute animals.
We do.
And the last one, now it's not cute, it's The Bewitching by Silvia Moreno Garcia. So this one is kind of like horror, eerie. It's a multi-generational witchy mystery horror that spans 3 timelines. So we have Minerva, who is a grad student and researching an author whose fiction may have been a little bit too close to home, a little bit too real. So she starts digging into the past and, kind of uncovering things that maybe a little bit something to do with her and her family generations. So it's got that Mexican Gothic atmosphere. It's a bit of haunted academia vibes, lots of generational trauma, but also it's tied to witchcraft. So lots of fun. So something a little bit different for whatever mood you're in.
Yes, I love that we have like a bit of moody Rex, warm Rex, and transportive kind of immersive read. So that's really exciting. I didn't know about the Farah Sean one. So I was like, oh, this is the thing. How did I miss it?
Yes.
So I'm like, oh, I need to go find that. That one sounds really good. Yeah. But let us know your thoughts in the comments. What new books have caught your attention? What books you're adding to your TBR? But also let us know if there are any new books that we have missed. All right. So if you are just joining us, welcome to Novel Hour. This is our weekly live show we host here every Thursday at 12 noon Eastern time. I know you might be wondering, how are we talking about new releases and it's 1? Yeah, we started a bit late. Technical difficulties. It has been rough this week because we've been busy and we've been recording things, which is why the gossip and the news, it will be missing this week because we are busy recording like mad women. We have something really exciting we're working on. Again, if you follow us on Instagram, you might kind of have a clue. You might have seen some little different things, interspersed between all the book content. So yeah, we've really been busy with all that stuff. Not gonna lie though, we do see that the gossip streets are wild. Okay, shout out to our friend Laura who keeps us updated, and Jacqueline who sent me a text yesterday like, girl, I said I am tired. So I'm not even gonna lie to you. Yes, we know it's wild out there in these streets. I just didn't have time to go down the rabbit hole because I love to come to you with sources, right? And then
with all the facts, all the details.
Love the sources, love the facts. I do not have the sources. I do not have the facts. I'm like, who started this? Where did this come from? you know, do we have an official organization? I even texted Laura yesterday. I'm like, by the way, do we have a group who kind of, you know, had said something? I mean, we know this to be understood, but you know, any sourcing, yeah, it's hard to find sources. So I'm like, you know, I'm tired. I'm gonna let that one lie. But we're busy, we're working, and we're really excited for you to see what's coming up next. But in the meantime, we want to tell you to mark your calendars. We have shows coming up next week. We're doing Disability Pride Month. So we're going to share some book recommendations to celebrate that. But of course, it wouldn't be summer without sharing some books with weddings. Again, you know, summer is a big wedding season. So we're excited to bring some of those book recommendations with you. You know what? Let us know in the comments if there are any topics you'd like us to cover here. You know, any books with certain themes or tropes that you're looking for. I'm very curious to kind of know what you are reading or interested in reading, or, you know, looking to hear more about. You know, we kind of want to include you in the show creation and all those things. So yeah, let us know your thoughts in the comments. In the meantime, like the video, share the video, tell a friend to tell a friend. We're trying to grow the platform. We're trying to grow the live show. We're trying to do all the things. And yeah, we need your help to do that. Yes. All right, everyone, we're going to sign off for today. I hope you have a great rest of your day and the rest of your week. And we'll see you next week, Thursday, 12 noon Eastern time. Bye, everyone.
Bye.